Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you are doing well again. Today we want to do another quick video on this topic, which I always advise you to inform yourself on how to buy a second-hand car. So I did an experiment in the last 2 weeks, and I want to give you a very exciting feedback that will show you the opportunity that exists out there for you to buy a high quality second-hand car from Kenyan market. So for the last 2 weeks, guys, I have a Nissan March. I have a Nissan March. So I put a sticker on this car, on my car, when I was driving around for 2 weeks. For 2 weeks, I put on sale, and I did stick that sticker at the rear end of the car, so that everybody who sees that car in front of them, they can see the display of my number and then which was reading car on sale. And the price that I had put there was 450k. Actually, the price was not part of the sticker, but whenever someone did an inquiry, I was telling them that the price of that car is 450,000. So that Nissan March, just for your information, is a 2013 model, and it has done so far 130k k kilometers. So it is not a very overused car. Right now, actually, when you go to the yard, you buy the ex-Japan cars, you will hardly get a car that has not done over 100k kilometers. So this car, in my view, is a very nice offer into the market. So the feedback that I got, and this is very interesting for everyone, is that I received over how many calls in the last 2 weeks? Around 20 calls. Okay, so people who wanted to know the price of the car and the condition of the car. So over 20 calls came through, and majority of the people were offering me 400k, 400,000. That is what people were offering, and actually only one person came to see the car. Majority of the people were like, 450k is too much, 450k is too much, and they did not even want to come and see the car in the first place. And this got me thinking, this car has never gotten me into trouble, not even a single day. I have never had a single issue with this car in terms of engine, in terms of gearbox, in terms of engine shift, gear shift, anything that you can talk of a car that has offered me quality service for the last 2 years. Talk of this car. I have never had an issue. And actually, the 450,000 I had put, I was mentioning as the sales price, was just to test the market. Actually, this car, for your information, I cannot sell it for anything less than 600. And I know why I am saying this. If I sell it for less than 600,000, a car that does not have an issue, even if I go for a KDP today, a brand new, not brand new, but a complete ex-Japan car that has not been used in Kenya, even if I go for a KDP, I don't believe that it will give me better service than what this car is giving me today. So I have no reason to go and buy another KDP, a Nissan March, for around 1M, and then I sell the one I have at 600k, and it has absolutely no problem. And given that it is for Uber business, I have no business selling it at anything less than 650. And for your information, I had bought this car at 460k back in 2021, end of 2021, around there. So that's when I had bought it. So it's 2 years plus since I bought it. So 460k right now, if I need to sell it, and I'm saying this, I'm not selling it, I cannot sell it for anything less than 600k. But for you out there, what is most important for you is just to imagine, if I was in an emergency situation, I could have been forced to sell that car at 400k. If I needed that money urgently, I could not have found anybody to buy it at 450, regardless of the fact that that car is in perfect, clean condition. And anybody who buys this car, I am guaranteed that in the next 2 3 years, this car can give them quality service. So why are you fearing to go out there and inspect second-hand cars for Uber business? That is my question. Why are people so much intimidated by 450,000 for a Nissan March, a car that I know is perfect? That is the opportunity that you guys have in the market. If someone needs this money urgently for something that they need to mandatorily to do it in, mandatory, they must do those things. They will be forced to sell their cars at 400,000. So if you want to buy a good second-hand car, start scouting. Any car that passes in front of you and it is written for sale, ask the person selling, how much are you selling this car? Okay? If they tell you any amount, of course, any amount that anybody selling that car to you will be mentioned. It will be an amount that is negotiable. Nobody will tell you a fixed amount. If they tell you, let's say 450k, the first thing you ask, is this owner or is an intermediary? Okay, is it the owner selling or is an intermediary? For my case, I was the owner who is selling. But you will find so many cars which are being sold in the second-hand market. Either you see the numbers on the cars of themselves, or you see the cars posted online. So there are two conditions. There are two situations. If it is an intermediary, and I'm giving you this advice so that you do the best due diligence. Sometimes it's hard to get it 100% correct, but if you find that you are dealing with an intermediary, most probably the intermediary will have his cut in the 450. So most probably the owner had quoted that car at around maybe 410. Okay, and then the intermediary will give you 450, so that even if you negotiate to 420, the guy will still have his own 10k cut in that negotiation, in that deal, if it goes on successfully. So my advice to you is that when you meet an intermediary, don't write them off, because it is very difficult for owner of the car to sell that car themselves. They need to share it with so many people so that it can be distributed and redistributed so that they can get a buyer as fast as possible. So when you get in touch with an intermediary or a broker, this is how you need to handle them. And I can put up another video on how to do due diligence on a second-hand car, starting from the details in the logbook, the details from the import certificate, and so many other things that I can explain in a separate video. But this one is just to help you in the early stages of the due diligence of a second-hand car. So here you have a broker. So once you meet a broker, tell him, okay, you know that he is pursuing a percentage of income from the 450. So don't let that thing be, openly discussed. Out of this, there is a cut for him. So tell him, bro, I will give you 5k. Okay, tell him I'll give you 5k or 10k, whatever the money you feel that you can afford and you are comfortable giving out. Tell him I'll give you 10k, but put me into contact with the owner. Okay, so if that negotiation is closed, and be an honest person, if that negotiation is closed, you will pay him 5,000 or 10,000, and then you will have the opportunity now to get the actual details and all the questions about the car answered by the actual car owner. Because a lot of these people who are selling, the car owners, they will tell you the reason behind the sale. They will tell you all the previous owners of the car. They can open for you the NTSA system online, or the team system, or e-citizen system, to see the car ownership history. Okay, You will see the number of years the current owner has stayed with that car. Okay, if that car has undergone replacement of engine, those details you can as well see them in eCitizen, because those documentations must be updated when you change the engine because of the engine number. Okay, so this is how I like dealing with this kind of stuff. I know it is a process that can take time. It can take a lot of resistance from the brokers to direct you to the car owner. But in absence of the car owner, I'm telling you, these brokers, they will not take a lot of money from you. Maybe even if the broker is, even if the car owner, as I have mentioned, had quoted 410K, the broker can actually even tell you 412 instead of losing that sales. They will accept to eat 2,000, but they will not provide you with the details, the relevant information for you to dig into the history of that car. So what I'm telling you at the end of the day, if I was unable to sell a very good car at 450K, how many cars out there are being sold without any mechanical issue and buyers are not forthcoming? And imagine for 2 weeks, I only received 20 calls. Okay, so it tells you that there are not many buyers out there for these second-hand cars, and that's why they are highly underpriced. Second-hand cars are highly underpriced. They are highly undervalued in as much as they can be good cars. So if you want a lesson on how to do due diligence right from the beginning, I explain things to do with the mileage. How do you monitor a mileage that has been interfered with? How do you know that mileage is actually genuine and it reports every kilometer that that car has traveled right from the day it was manufactured actually to date? So there are those estimations that we do that reflect an activity of a car, if it is used for private or if it is used for taxi business. So guys, please don't go and buy a car that is worth 1.5 million and put it in Uber, and then you start carrying people for trips worth 200 Kenya shillings, and then you start getting annoyed and angry. If you buy your car at 400K, I'm telling you, you will appreciate a trip of even 150 shillings. But a person who bought their demo at 1.5 million, never will they appreciate a trip of 200 shillings. So that is my video for you today, and I look forward to having another one soon. Bye-bye.